welcome back to my channel. I'm Leandra the TBR0 and I have created my first ever TBR game. I love watching TBR games every single month and I love creating challenges for other readers during my readathons. Whether you've participated in TBR-a-thon or TBR Harvest, you know that I have the capability of creating a game. So why has it taken me so long? Well, I've always been nervous about creating a TBR game that I think is reasonable, but also fun for me every single month. It challenges me to go outside of my comfort zone while not bogging me down and forcing me to do TBRs that are like 20 books long of books I don't even want to read. And I think I finally found the formula that works for me. I kid you not, it has taken a few months in the making where I've tweaked the rules, tried to figure out what elements I can add, what elements I can remove, and now I've officially created Cat and Mouse TBR Game. It's inspired by a card game known as Cat and Mouse, also titled Spite and Malice for some people. I've tweaked it a little bit, just again, so it works for me and my bookshelves, but I can't wait to introduce it to you. You may have heard me say it's inspired by a card game, and yes, that means I only need a deck of cards. I figured that's more accessible for me. I can do it on the road if I ever want to. And for those at home, if you want to play, get your own deck of cards and play with me. Not only was I inspired by the card game Cat and Mouse, but I have to say that I took a lot of inspiration from one of my favorite TBR games that ever existed on booktube, and that was created by Gavin Reads It All. He doesn't do the TBR game anymore, and I understand why, but I loved that game every single month, and so I thought I would bring a little inspiration from that while still making it my own. Pardon the interruption, but I am going to be a co-host for Get a Clue Readathon in February. This is hosted by Rainy Blue Reads. It's the second time she's doing it, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever. Obviously, I want you to join Team Mr. Green, but of course there are other teams by other lovely hosts, and I will have the announcement linked below for you to go check it out. Go support Rainy, go support all the other hosts. But the reason for this interruption, in addition to telling you that this readathon exists, is that Rainy has given me a very special message, and that will be coming to you at the end of this video, so stay tuned. The way it works is I am playing against the house, the card dealer that's there but isn't really there. If we want to, we can consider it my evil twin because I'm kind of playing against myself. With each round, I suggest a book, but then there's also the house's option. And obviously I want to win the option that I've chosen for myself, but this one is similar, but just for some reason I'm not in the mood for it. For instance, this is a historical mystery by Darcy Wilde. It's the third in a series that I've really loved and I want to get back to. It's also an arc, and so is the house's option, A Cold Dose of Murder. Not only is this an arc, but it's also the third book in a series that I do enjoy, but I'm just not currently in the mood for it. So the way this works is I get 20 cards, the house gets 20 cards, and then we both draw one. And we see who has the highest number. Whichever number is highest, that's the book I have to read. In my version, Queen is high, Ace is low, and King can act as a saving throw. So it pretty much defeats anything except for a king. So for instance, if I draw a king and the house draws a king, the house wins because the house always wins. To make things a little bit more interesting, I have included a D6 into the mix. I will be rolling this die twice, and depending on the number I get, I then have to pull a prompt from one of the corresponding jars. We've got clue, red herring, I also have a rumor jar, and a ghost sighting jar. Obviously the clues are pro player, red herring is for the house. Rumor and ghost sightings are more challenges. Sometimes they can go my way, sometimes they won't, depending on the type of TBR I'm actually looking for this month. I won't always roll this die. I won't always take prompts from the jar, especially if it's a month where I just need a very chill TBR stack. Without further ado, I think it's better to just play the game and show you what's going to happen. So let's start off with round one. As promised, we have the house's book, A Cold Dose of Murder by Emily George, and then I have my choice, which is Darcy Wilde's The Matter of the Secret Bride. Okay, let's pull the first number. This is going to be the number for the house. Oh no! That's so high! Okay, so the house is coming out strong in the first round with a jack, and now it's time for me to pull my number. Oh no! I knew it! And you know what? I feel like it's too early for me to use one of my draws, so the house wins it. I will say this one looks really interesting. It follows Chloe, our main amateur sleuth. She is actually a Parisian pastry chef who's returned to her home in California, and she now runs a cannabis cafe shop that, you know, is in a town that has a lot of murder. In this one, there is a food critic who ends up biting it, if you don't mind a pun. And Chloe has to figure out who actually murdered this person, because currently there is someone who's innocent within her community that she doesn't want to see go to jail. Thank you so much again, Kensington, for gifting this to me. It comes out on the 25th of February if you're interested. Okay, next round we have my choice, which would be The Djinbat of Shantiport. I have been dying to read this ever since I bought it this month in January. I don't know if you know, if you're new to my channel, but I have the goal for the past 2 years of trying to read every single book I buy within the year I buy it. And so this is on my 2025 TBR and I need to read it. It's a part of my goal. And so I don't want to start off on the wrong foot and already get behind on that goal. So that's why I'm adding it. Plus it looks so good. And I already have had a guest at the Manor and say how fun it was. So I feel like I'm feeling FOMO. Now, in honor of keeping these two pretty similar, the book that I'm not really feeling like reading right now is Rogue Protocol by Martha Wells. This is the third book in the Murderbot series, and I did have a lot of fun reading the first 2 books, but if I'm going to be honest, I felt as though I read the second book way too fast. It was for the Amazing Readathon, and I don't even really remember what happened. So if I were to read this, I would want to go back and reread book 2 first, and then finally jump into this one. The reason why I'm thinking it's very similar to The Djinbat of Shantiport, not because, you know, they both are regarding robots, but because this one was a part of my 2024 purchases that I failed to read. So I'm playing a bit of catch up with this one. So even though I'm not feeling it, it would still be good for me to actually read it. Okay, pulling the card for House right now, and here it is. Okay, I feel a lot better about this one than I did about the Jack. So, okay, good to know, good to know. Let's make sure there's some room for mine. I feel like if I lose this, that means the luck is just not with me today. So here is mine. Oh my gosh! I don't know what happens. I should have planned for that. I'm assuming that I can either have the bowl. Oh, you know what I'm gonna have to do? You guys are watching me create the rules. I'm gonna have the house and myself go again. So this might not be in my favor. Okay, here's the house. Okay, good. I mean, I honestly shouldn't be as excited because either one would probably be a great read for me. But okay, here is mine. Yes! What an easy win. Oh my gosh, I feel relief. I'm so excited to read this one. I'm trying to go in pretty blind, but what I understand is that it's Aladdin in space. It's also compared to Murderbot to my understanding. Yeah, actually, in fact, R.R. Verdi says the best of Aladdin and Murderbot meet in Basu's top tier storyteller's craft. I am so excited. I mean, I also see that Malka Older and Ann Leckie support this. So clearly a lot of authors in the sci-fi community are fans of this author and this book. So I have to like it, right? Round 3 is going to involve fantasy mystery genre blends. So the book that I really want to read right now is actually A Trinket for the Taking by Victoria Laurie. This one is also a NetGalley arc that I failed to read before publication, and now you can see that I have a library book edition. I also recently started it, but I'm only maybe a chapter in. I'd probably need to reread that because it was back in December when I picked this up. Meanwhile, the perfect comparison is Murder at Spindle Manor by Morgan Stang. I've also been reading this book off and on. I ended up setting it down when I realized I had other projects I needed to prioritize, but this one is going to be representing the house because I feel like I'm in more of a kind of heist cozy mood than I am for dark horror fantasy. So they're both fantasy mystery, but from very different kind of eras. One's historical, or at least historical inspired, while the other one is taking place in modern day Washington, D.C. Okay, I am 1-1 right now, so I don't know if I should feel good or nervous about this, but here is the house. Oh gosh, it's high enough where there's not many numbers for it to beat. So I may have to cash in one of my redraws because I'm really nervous. All right, here's mine. 1, 2, 3. I don't understand what's happening. I'm so confused. Okay, this is why we draw 20 per side in anticipation of weird things like this happening. Okay, the nerves continue. Here is the house. Oh my God, it made it better. Oh no, now the house is even stronger. Okay. It's gonna be fine, it's gonna be fine. 1, 2, 3. I don't know if I really shuffled these very well. Let that be a lesson to you. Shuffle your cards, friends. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time. Here's the house. an 8. Like, honestly, it's all in the same. I would argue that because they're not all the same suit, I suppose it's not completely my fault for not shuffling well, but still. Okay, the moment of truth. If this is another 8, I'm gonna actually freak out. A king! Oh my gosh. Okay. So for those of you who don't remember my very long spiel at the beginning, a king is kind of like a wild card. Think of it like crazy 8s in some way, where this one trumps everything. And so I ended up getting my pick for this one. The mesmerizing mystery series debut from New York Times bestselling author Victoria Laurie introduces the captivating Dovey Van Dalen, once the belle of 1840s Copenhagen, now charged with recovering magic property from mortals, whatever it takes. I remember when I first read this, she is pretty much like a contractor for hire, and her boss is someone she's kind of bound to, the person who made her immortal back in the 1840s. And I don't really know how their relationship works. It feels like there's some tension, but to my knowledge, she then has to work together with either an agent or a detective in some way, and I'm assuming there's going to be a romantic subplot in there while she's trying to collect a magical item. There's also a family in here who is suffering from a string of suspicious deaths, and it says there's no sign of foul play. However, each member has died in the way they feared most. Yeah, it says that she ends up having to team up with FBI agent Grant Gibb Barlow. Ooh. For round 4, I decided to give myself a bit of tough love, and it doesn't really matter if I win or if the house wins, because we are going with nature writing. Well, nature writing and then just environmentalist lit. For me, I'm hoping I get to read The World Without Us. This is kind of a climate crisis reflection on what the world would look like if humans were gone. And I'm imagining a lot of the world's problems would also go with it, specifically for flora and fauna and the mass extinction events that are going on. So I really want to read this. Plus, this was a book I bought in 2024 that I didn't get to. So again, trying to play some catch up. Now, the house wants me to go old school nature writing with John Muir's Steep Trails. I own quite a few of John Muir's works, specifically in this really kind of nice special edition. It comes out of Gibb Smith, if anyone's interested, and I have been dying to read it because I know, as someone who really loves modern day nature writing, that I probably should go back to my roots, go back to the roots of nature writing, to someone as pivotal as John Muir. So I think it's important. I'm going to add it for the house. Okay, and the house is going to draw a queen. I can't win. I'm gonna lose. I mean, what are we gonna do? Okay, I mean, if it even matters, let's go. Honestly, I'm glad I got the ace now because it didn't matter. So remember in my game, queen high, ace low, I literally couldn't have beaten her anyway. And by her, I'm saying the house. I guess I'm saying the house is a woman. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's a beautiful addition. I mean, the end pages and then these really kind of lovely just little details. And there's a little blurb from the publisher that says that this is a collection of essays exploring 29 years of naturalist John Muir's life as he explores the West. So we're going to be traveling some peaks, taking on some trails in what I'm assuming is going to be, Western United States and maybe some Canada. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I know that feels really short, but I'm only going to do 4 rounds right now, mainly because I have 5 priority reads that I also have to do this month, including book club picks, buddy reads. But for fun, I'm still going to roll the die twice and see what jar prompts I can use. Okay, first roll. A 6. So according to my rules, if you get a 5 or a 6, you're going to pull a clue prompt. So for now, we have 1 clue. Roll number 2. A 4. I can't remember what that is. I just double checked my own rules and a 4 is a rumor. Okay, I've got my handy dandy jars. Let's see what I'm gonna get. Pulling the clue first. Ooh, okay, let's see what it is. Ooh, manga or graphic novel. I can add it. That's perfect. In some of my prompts, you'll see replace with or exchange, and this one just says add, so I can't replace this book, but I can add it to my TBR. And because it's a manga or graphic novel, it doesn't seem that crazy to just add it to my already existing TBR, especially because I'm participating in Get a Clue, and I'm very excited about it. So, more the merrier. And the book that I'm adding is Creepy Cat by Cotton Valent. This was gifted to me by TERESA, so thank you so much, TERESA. I cannot wait to read it. And it looks like it's going to be a really easy palette cleanser, so I'll have to let you know what I think. But yeah, this is what I'm going to add. All right, let's see what the rumor is. False rumor. Reverse the outcome of last round. Oh my gosh, that means that instead of doing John Muir's Steep Travels, I'm going to be reading The World Without Us. I'm really excited. It apparently asks the ultimate question, what happens to the earth when human beings disappear? I can't wait to dig into this. Okay, the sun is setting and I still have to let you all know what I'm reading for book clubs and buddy reads. But for now, this is my current stack and I'll see you guys on a different day in a different outfit. Another day, another shirt, and I need to tell you the rest of my TBR. So we're gonna set these 5 down and I'll let you know what book clubs I'm participating in and what buddy reads I have planned for February. I am going to get the major events out of the way. The first book club read that I'm going to be reading is The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owens. I'm reading this with Danny Dabbles for our podcast known as Not Reading for Content. It's a book club and essentially we read a book a month and we post every Friday. So if you want to check us out, see how we feel about this romantasy that I'm honestly terrified of, then yeah, I think it should be fun. To my understanding, it's romantasy and like Greek mythology inspired. It's a reimagining of sorts. I'm pretty sure Hades and Zeus and a few other gods are main characters. I don't know if it's exactly a Persephone and Hades reimagining, but I have liked those in the past, so we're gonna cross our fingers. The link to our YouTube channel will also be in the description. Next, I am hosting a read-along with Margaret the Word Nerd, and we will be rereading Little Thieves in February. You can join us for this one, get a bit of a taste test for the series, and then if you want to continue, feel free to join us in March as we end up reading the second book, Painted Devils, and then finally in April for the release of the third and final installment, Holy Terrors. The link for that announcement will also be below. I'm telling you, there are so many links in my description. I really hope that I remember them all. And the final book club read that I have on my February TBR is Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Iyamide. This is a YA mystery thriller, and it was chosen by The Manor for our Only Murders in the Book Club. I'm excited, I'm kind of hesitant, but I feel as though I need a win because our last book club pick just wasn't for me, even though most people really enjoyed it. So I'm just hoping for this one we all enjoy it, and I've only heard good things. And then I only have 2 buddy reads to prepare for. One of them is Strange Beasts by Susan J. Morris. I am looking forward to this probably too much. I am forcing this buddy read upon Kirsten, the reading nymph. You probably know that I talk about her all the time because we've become pretty good friends on BookTube, but we just read The Hanjin Murders last month. And by last month, I mean this month in January, and we had a really good time discussing the book, even though the book wasn't as impressive as we wish it had been in the end. So I will say I'm entering Strange Beasts a bit nervously because I have way higher hopes for this one. A couple months ago, I had started it just to see if I could actually manage to finish it before the end of the year. I saw that that was not going to happen. I had too many priority reads, so I had to put it down. But from what I had read, I really enjoyed it. It features characters whose like parents or they're the descendants of the killer of Dracula as well as Moriarty himself, and they've got to work together while they investigate the grisly murders by some type of monster in Paris. It has a really great premise, so I'm expecting this to be a 5-star read, to be honest. And thank you again, Kirsten, for always being game when I ask if you want to do a buddy read with me, because this is one that's been on my TBR, like my mental TBR, for way too long. And finally, the last buddy read that I have to do is a group buddy read. This one is with Rainy Blue Reads, Nell Diamond, and Danny Dabbles. We're kind of hoping for a bit of a redemption arc. We tried Empire of the Vampire last month. Again, I mean January, and all of us DNF'd it except for Rainy, and she's kind of put it on the back burner, not even really focusing on it because of how bad it is. It was a mess. It was terrible. And Nell, Danny, and I just really want to prove to Rainy that we do read books that we enjoy together. And so we have decided to read The Unlikely Escape of Uriah Heep by H.G. Perry. This one seems really interesting, a bit kind of cozy fantasy, I'm assuming with some darker elements. To my understanding, it opens in a library in which the main character, maybe the librarian himself, can actually bring characters out of their pages and live amongst the real world, and some chaos ensues when he realizes there's someone else who has that same ability, and I think that's the major conflict. As I haven't read the book yet, and I only read the synopsis the one time when we decided that we'd be reading this book together, I may be off, but I'm pretty sure I got a good gist of what this book is about. All right, so I have 6 physical reads in my possession right now, and the other 4 I'll be accessing probably through Libby or Hoopla, and I cannot wait for February. I cannot wait for Get a Clue Readathon. Let me know if you enjoyed the TBR game, if there's things I can tweak, if I can change. Maybe I can make it more challenging or make it easier. I crushed the house this month. I don't know if that's gonna happen moving forward, but I ended up getting 3 out of the 4 books I wanted to read, and I will say that moving forward, when I'm not hosting a readathon or being a part of one, I probably will do more rounds. It's just that I want to be realistic. I want to be mindful of my TBRs. And I really do think that these, 10 books are going to be realistically able to be read. Let me know what priority read you have on your February TBR. And if you're not feeling chatty, feel free to give me like a card or gambling emoji. Probably a die is the easiest thing that I can come up with. And also thank you to my Manor guests for always being so supportive. I don't think I even got to tell you that I was doing this TBR game, so it's gonna be a surprise to you all as well as the general public, and I hope you're enjoying it. Thank you all for getting to the end. I do appreciate you. I hope to see you and Get a Clue. Oh my gosh, that's right. Hold on. There's a hint. There's a hint. Hold on. That would have been so embarrassing, but I do have a message from Rainey, and she says, I quote, "Let the games and competition begin." Okay, those of you who waited till the very end are the real ones, because you actually earned this Get a Clue hint, and I appreciate you even more for that. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye!